How do we go from knowing who our dream client is to actually getting them to submit a form, give us their contact information, so hopefully they become a customer? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing, or business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to mention, I'm going to mention a couple things throughout this video. If you'd like to grab them, they are down in the video links down below. Or if you're listening to the podcast, MSP Heroes, go check it out if you haven't already. And in that podcast description, you will also find some great links down there. One of those links, or better yet, two of those links, is one, resources, where you'll see a bunch of stuff from today. But two, also come hang out with us in the Discord. I still can't believe we are almost about to cross the 850 member mark. And I say that number because I can't wait to look back down the road and see how, the process that we've made or progress we've made. And it's truly, truly incredible to see the growth. Come hang out with us in the community. It truly is amazing. So I got recently asked, how do I take that buyer persona and bring them to an actual customer? And that gap is something that clearly is missing, right? I tell you guys to look at who your ideal customer is, but how do we cross that threshold? How do we get them to become a lead and then ultimately convert that lead into a sale? That is the hardest part about all of this. But lucky for you, not only am I making this video, there's already a cheat sheet that exists that I'm going to cover throughout this video. But first, we have to figure out who our ideal customer profile is, your ICP. Now, your ICP and your buyer persona are very, very similar. Your ICP are more the generic type of characteristics than your buyer persona. Your buyer persona is kind of a fake made up person, but they go hand in hand. And we're going to jump into my computer right now. And I just want to share with you guys what this actually is. So we have the buyer persona, and that buyer persona is going to contain things like the first name, last name, age, the gender, where they're located, the demographics, psychographics, behaviors, where they're hanging out online. All of these are really, really important for us to figure out, because the more information that we have in here, and there's a whole second page, I'll show you guys how to go grab it if you want. It is growth-generators.com/resources. If you hover over the resources and scroll down, you'll actually be able to see, and then all the way at the bottom, that buyer persona sheet. And spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about a mega marketing cheat sheet as well. So what's important is once we know who that person is, and we spend the time to go through line by line and fill that out. And this could be a customer that you wish you had, or a customer that you already have. You're like, this is the best customer. I wish that I could just have 1,000 of this customer. You would be over the moon. You'd probably have a blossoming MSP, and that's fantastic. But we have to put those attributes on paper. Without putting them on paper, we can't quite get to where we want to be throughout this process. So the first thing is we have to understand that buyer persona. We have to understand all of the attributes that are going to go along with that, especially where they're hanging out online. Who are they connected to? What social media channels do they like to use? Where do they get their information? These are all wildly, wildly important. So now we're going to jump into what I would call the mega marketing cheat sheet. And you can grab that in the resources area as well. Right there, free. It's completely free. You don't have to do anything for it. But we have this mega marketing cheat sheet here. And this mega marketing cheat sheet is going to show us what we can do and what we could start to provide our target customer to get them to give us their information. Now, I've given you guys a list of freebies, right? We have ebooks, checklists, webinars, case studies, free tutorials and demos, infographics, resource guides, quizzes and assessments, email courses, discounts and promotions, right? So this is all super good. These are going to be ways that we begin to get their information, right? We know who we want to target, but we have to cross that bridge. How do we actually get there to where they give us that information? We want to know their first name, their last name, the phone number, the email address, maybe even their business. And maybe depending on what you're actually providing, you could probably get additional bits of value and bits of information out of them that will help the journey through that process even easier. So for example, in here, We also have the audience, and I'm going to cover this in 1 second. One area that I want to cover is some marketing strategies to get in, right? We have kind of the thing that we're going to give them, but we have to figure out how we're going to give this to them. How are we going to, for a better, lack of a better term, go fishing for our customers, right? We have the bait. Right? The bait is, believe it or not, the bait is these email courses, discounts, and promotions, resource guides. This is our bait to go fishing. The marketing strategy is, what kind of fishing are we going to do? Are we going to use a net? Are we going to use a spear? Are we going to use a fishing pole? Are we going to build some kind of trap to get them into? There's a ton of different ways to actually go catch fish. In this case, this is our way of which we're going to go catch those fish, the marketing strategies behind it. And a lot of these all work either with one another or separately. And in many cases, they all work well with each other. And I'm going to cover that throughout this video. But first, we have to define that niche, right? We have to know who that actually is. It's the most important thing. But then how do we actually want to reach out or get them to look at our stuff? We have online advertising, we have content marketing, we have partnerships and alliances, social media presence, right? Social media is one of the best ones, educational and webinar and workshops. We have email marketing to get ahead, to stay in front of them, search engine optimization, networking, and then a referral program. All of these are ways that we can go fishing to get their interest. Hey, we know that something there is the method in which we are going to use our bait. So how do we actually combine those two? And I want to share with you guys a funnel, and I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of a strategy that you guys can take and implement immediately when this video is over to start having success, especially when you feel like marketing companies aren't moving the needle. That's going to be key for this, because I promise you, you're probably going about it the wrong way. You might not have the right bait, or you might not have the right method to use that bait. And if one of those two things is off, we're never going to see success throughout this process. We have to make sure that we are using the right bait and the right fishing method to get our customers. And I know that sounds like a crazy analogy, but it is true. We have to make sure that that's the route that we're going, because just because we want to go catch a shark and we don't have any bait, or we don't have the right bait, if you're using a minnow to catch a shark, the shark isn't going to eat the minnow. It's not interested in the minnow. The same flip side of it is the shark is smart enough to get out of the way of the net. You have to make sure that you are using the right bait with the right method to have success. So let me walk you through this. Now, just like if you are not able to figure out where you are going wrong in the sales process, we have to work our way backwards. Now, it's very easy to look at this as a top-down. Your audience goes to a Facebook ad or a Google ad, gets a freebie, but we don't want to focus on that right now. We need to build backwards. The reason being is marketing and sales, it actually works out in your favor to say, hey, I want the customer. But how do I actually want that customer? Well, I want that customer, but I have to deliver the proposal to that customer. But then I have to build the proposal. But then I have to figure out what goes on that proposal. And then after I figure out and then I have to book a meeting to figure out what's going to go on that proposal. And then I have to figure out how they're coming into my system. And you see where I'm going with this. We can't say, well, I want to build a marketing strategy from the top down, because then there's too many opportunities. We have to think about it in reverse. And the next, just like Legos, we build from the ground up, not the top down throughout this process. So we now know, right? We have a closed deal, right? Onboarding and referral ask. These are all after they send us, right, in this case, my fake money here laying around, but this is after we get our fake money. So what is this process, right? They're going to make a decision. We have that proposal. We have the sales call. We have the value add email, hopefully. And this is where things can get a little bit crazy. Now, this is a very, very basic funnel, but I want to go over it with you because this is how people should be going through it, depending on what you actually want to use, if you're using a Facebook ad or a Google ad. We need to make sure that we have an offer to book a discovery call. In there, right, we want to make sure we have our phone number or phone call or booked call, something to book that meeting, preferably a Calendly link. If you use our system, Growth Machine, you could go grab it in MSP Heroes, but we need to have some way that they could go through this and be able to book a call. That is the absolute bare minimum, because when they can book a call, we can take care of the sales through our own means. We don't have to automate that. But everything prior to that, we do want to automate, and that's really important, and building it out correctly. So after we get that, or before we get that phone call, we need to have a funnel offer to book that discovery call. Before that funnel offer that says, hey, book a call with us, we need a specifically designed landing page for conversions. That is really important in here. If we don't have a landing page that is designed to have a strong call to action, talking about the pain points, the psychographics, some of the potential demographics that we mention here in the buyer persona, they're never going to end up going to the next area. So we need to make sure that that funnel offer is quite good and addresses the pain points of our target customer. Keep in mind, I keep saying target customer, buyer persona, and ICP, because if I don't say that and I just say, well, you need to create this for your customers, you can't catch your target customer with the wrong bait and the wrong method. We have to make sure that we're using the right areas in both of those. And like I said before, that all comes from knowing what marketing strategy is going to align with your buyer persona and what bait over here is going to align with your buyer persona. And what I mean by that is every industry, let's say you're going after law firms, specifically business law, right? You're like, hey, I want to go help business law firms in XYZ area. Great. Who are you actually marketing to? Is it the CEO, CTO, CIO, CRO, CMO, whatever it might be? You might be going after the C-suite. Maybe it's the VP of technology. It doesn't matter, but you have to know that. Then after we figure that out, we have to say, where are they hanging out on the internet? In many cases, it could be on LinkedIn, and you could start to go through and find these companies on LinkedIn, and you could go through and say, hey, you know what? I want to go talk to XYZ person. Fantastic. But you might not be able to find them on LinkedIn, or they might not actively use LinkedIn. It all depends on your ICP, understanding your ideal customer profile. Are they hanging out in Facebook groups? Are they hanging out in small peer groups? Are they going to BNI meetings or LATIP meetings? Are they heavily involved in the Chamber of Commerce? All of these parts, it might not just be that they're hanging out online. They might be hanging out in person. And we can then potentially insert ourselves into the right spot to go get a hold of those people. And birds of a feather flock together. That's why I keep saying, go back to that buyer persona. In many cases, the law firms or the people making decisions in law firms are typically going to be hanging out on LinkedIn. So it makes it fairly easy. But if you're going after construction companies, if you're going after pest control companies, they're hanging out in your local Chamber of Commerce, in your local BNI, in your local LATIP meetings. That is where things can happen. Or if you want to take it one step further, are they hanging out in industry-specific peer groups that maybe you can present to those peer groups to show the benefit of the technology and how it can help improve their business? That is what I mean by figuring out where they're hanging out, so we can then insert ourselves or insert the right technology to help attract their eyeballs. So after that, we want to go through and we want to see, okay, we have that funnel offer to book a discovery call. We have that specific landing page, but what's before that? Okay, we have to create some kind of contact. But how do we get their contact information? Oh, that's right. We need to use our bait specifically paired with the right marketing strategy or method that we're going to capture them. Now, in this case, I just show Facebook and Google ads, but the entire list right here is almost identical, right? We need to make sure that we have the right bait in front of them to say, hey, do you want to learn how you can remove the headaches of I'm drawing a blank on the specific one, of Clio, of Practice Panther, whatever it is, for your law firm? Or do you hate not knowing that your client's data or company's data can be leaked on the internet? If so, we have a 25 list or 25 point checklist to help you remove those headaches. And then you use content marketing, ads, all of that to get that bait in front of the right person. Social media presence, email marketing, networking, referring, search engine optimization, educational content, right? Content marketing, partnerships and alliances, online advertising, and then defining your niche. But we can now say we want to pair this specific bait, and everybody's buyer persona is going to be different. We might realize that, hey, we need to come up with some kind of checklist or template to attract or get in front of that we think will connect with local law firms in your area. And the way that we're going to figure that out or get in front of them is either using online advertising, maybe some social media presence, or asking for referrals and just saying, hey, by the way, do you mind referring us some business, or do you want to send this out to your network? I know you're heavily involved with business law firms in XYZ area. And that referral can then send that out and get in front of those people. But you have to build backwards. You can't build a sales and marketing strategy from front to back. It has to be from the back to the front, working your way through the process. Because you might realize, hey, the second part of this, and I'll show you guys, but you might realize, hey, I crush the sales calls. I make insane proposals. We actually almost always close the people onboarding. So we have to work backwards, jumping through this process of saying, hey, did we add enough value in the email? No? Okay. Or yes? Great. Did we get a email automation to go off? No? Okay. We built the emails, but we didn't get the email to trigger. We have to figure out this problem. And then we know, okay, great. Well, did they book a call? No. Well, then I need to get a better funnel offer to book a better business call. And you work through it from the back to the front. But I hope this video helps you guys overcome and get through having that ideal customer profile, that buyer persona that you're like, this customer will give me tons of money. I just need more of that customer. They're going to love my service. Amazing. But we have to work backwards. Even if you don't want to spend money for your MSP, you don't have to go and spend tens of thousands of dollars. You need one well-crafted funnel from all the way from the back of they're going to book a call through the entire process of making that lead magnet and then getting it in front of them. That is going to be your process to become super successful. And I know most of my competitors are going to hate me for this, but this is the easiest way to do it. And if you can figure that section out and get it working for one ideal customer profile, you can then take it, replicate it, and use it again over and over and over for other of your dream customers. I hope you guys found some value in this. If you did, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. It's been about 2-ish weeks since ScaleCon. For the people that attended, I hope you guys are crushing it. I'm super excited that I got to go. I'm still wearing my shirt. It is amazing. I'm excited for Dallas of 2025. I'll see you guys over there. But like, subscribe, notify. If you guys found value in this, amazing. Hit that like button. And if you have questions, please leave them in the comments down below so I can make even better videos to address the issues that you guys are having. Love the heck out of you guys, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.